Well, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Bungie, a lot of their statements are usually pretty damn woke, let's be real. They have always shilled for diversity, equity, and inclusion. We know that to be the case. So this, what I'm about to tell you, should not be very shocking. But apparently we have an article here from That Park Place that talks about a person that I just recently quote tweeted on Twitter. And it says, Bungie senior narrative designer defends Sweet Baby Inc. and tells gamers, you need to grow up. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he has basically taken the maturity route because that's what they always do. It's either the moral superiority route or the maturity route. And he's trying to say that you are immature and that you need to grow up.
Ooh!
You serious?
So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push this out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says, a senior narrative designer for Bungie chose to defend Sweet Baby Inc. and even parroted comments made by the company's CEO telling gamers they need to grow up. Now, before we continue into what he said and what eventually the CEO said, let's make this very clear. Somebody named Thickest Yosh really shouldn't be telling people to grow up, okay? That's number one. Number two, yes, it should not be very shocking, ladies and gentlemen, that the mainstream gaming industry is going to echo the same sentiment of the DEI consultant firms that they utilize for their games. It should not be shocking in the slightest. These people are all the same. There is no diversity of thought within their companies. They love to shill for the same exact thing. Thickest Yosh is no different, especially since all of them seem to be senior narrative designers or a narrative designer as a whole. They all have the same ideology. So what do you think is going to happen when these people get their hands on these video games? What do you think is going to happen? Obviously, they're going to wokeify the hell out of the video games because for them, their ideology is king. Their ideology is everything. That is the first thing, and that is the last thing that goes in their mind. So it says, ex-user Thickest Yosh, whose profile claims he is a senior narrative designer for Bungie, wrote, if you're mad about DEI ruining games, you need to grow up. He continued, you need to stop wasting so much time on grifters who are only there to manipulate you and milk your anger for engagement. You need to talk to people who aren't like you a little bit more. You need to stop falling for this, he concluded. Well, with that being said, Thickest Yosh, let's make this very clear. Number one, the only people grifting are you guys who are in the gaming industry in bad faith. You are not actually a gamer. At least you're not acting like one anyway, because if DEI was the most important thing to you, it really shouldn't be as a gamer. The games themselves should be the most important thing. How happy can you make gamers should be the most important thing. But the problem is that this organization, not just Bungie, but like the gaming scene as a whole, they have this idea in their mind that their customers are their enemy. It's the weirdest thing. Like, you're making games and you're trying to sell games in the AAA market, and in the same breath, you're telling them they need to grow up. You're telling them you're attacking them. Like, I just don't understand why you would want to attack your potential customers. That doesn't make sense from a business standpoint. But of course, it's not about business. Usually, it's also about ideology. And since he's on his own personal Twitter, I'm sure he's going to shill for that. It says then also number two, before we continue, number two, the fact that you say you need to talk to people who aren't like you a little bit more. I would guarantee you, Thickest Yosh, that you don't talk to anybody who thinks differently from you. I saw you make a tweet where you say that you talk to your family and that your family is different from you. Well, guess what? Your family is not going to tell you the full truth because they're your family. Obviously, some family do, but not a lot of family don't. Like, not a lot of family do tell the truth. They're going to want to protect you. They're going to want to make sure your feelings are nice and protected. Can't hurt those fifis. Got to make sure they agree with you, especially when it comes to sensitive topics like DEI, where a lot of people still feel like to this day they could be canceled for having an opposite opinion. So many people don't want to talk up about it. So don't give me that bullshit about, oh, well, I talk to my family and they're very different. Do you talk to anybody else? Do you talk to anybody else who won't protect your fifis and will give you the honest idea about yourself and whatnot? Do you talk to anybody? Because I do. I talk to people every single day. Even on Saturday Night Hypnosis, we disagree on so many fucking things. It's ridiculous. But still, we still get together. We still have the conversation. We're still friends and we still do our thing. So what do? Do you actually do that? I highly doubt that. It says Thickest commentary echoes what Sweet Baby Inc. CEO Kim Belair had to say back in 2019 about straight white male gamers. She compared them to picky babies. In a presentation at the Game Developers Conference, Belair said, "I think in our industry and in so many creative industries, if you want to look at film and television and any art form, we start treating our core demographics as a fixed and static value rather than something that does not want to change and something that is locked in place. So despite the changing faces of audiences, which it's not because sales have proven that, despite the changing faces of conferences like this one, we still look at our core demographics and say, okay, they're white cis hetero males and we cater almost exclusively to them. And the problem is that we don't just cater to them. You know, here's something that we think you'll enjoy. We cater to them like a picky baby." She elaborated, "We feed them the same thing that we know that they love and we keep on feeding it. We're like, here you go. We know you love it. Eat this, eat this, eat this." So then when they get something else, they react as a picky baby would, which would be like, "Oh, no, thank you. I don't want this." And we've actually done this so long that what we're doing is creating an entire nation of picky babies, and they make us scared to deviate from what we actually want to do, just in case these picky babies don't want to play our games. Ladies and gentlemen, this person is completely stupid. Not only that, they're completely out of touch. How are you going to make the comparison of a parent and a baby to gamers? Because number one, and really this is the only reason that I need to bring up, gamers pay you. Gamers pay for your product. Gamers are customers. It's not the same as picky babies. Gamers are customers. They have dollars that they're willing to spend, that they're waiting to spend. It is your job to entice them to buy your game. It is not the job of the gamer to sell the game for you. So if you cannot entice the gamer to buy your game, then that is a problem that you're just going to have to deal with on your own. It is not the fault of the gamer, no matter how much you want to call them picky babies, because last I checked, you don't get paid for feeding a baby. The baby doesn't pay you money for feeding them. The baby just takes the food. So it's not the same thing. It's nowhere even close. And it's a disingenuous argument that this woman's trying to say because she just wants to insult white men. That's what she wants to do. She doubled down on the metaphor later in the presentation. "I do like to imagine that when we look at white guys, and there's several of you here, I think when we look at you, we say, experience new and different stories. Okay, you can't possibly enjoy this. I think we need to step out of this rule like that white men can enjoy fantasy worlds, aliens, sci-fi monsters, or anything so long as it's through a lens that looks exactly like them. Because if that's the kind of person that we're going to cater to, you're never going to innovate. You're never going to change things. You're never going to keep feeding the picky baby. Oh, I'm sorry. You are going to keep feeding the picky baby," she continued. "And we cannot continue to try to create art under a system that is going to bar innovation for fear of a picky baby throwing a tantrum." So yes, ladies and gentlemen, this lady was attacking gamers all the way back in 2019, ladies and gentlemen, all the way back in 2019. That's insane. And the fact that she made this gaming company, or this company that's really a narrative consulting firm that likes to do things through the eyes of DEI, and if you don't believe me, she said so in this video and also on their website mission statement, they are going to do everything they can to make sure that they wokeify whatever they may be coming out. Just look at this still shot. They offer a sensitivity reading and risk assessment, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they offer. That in and of itself is woke as hell. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.